White people think that they're clever, they think they're witty, but they're not.
I think I'm pretty witty.
You say something witty.
This is Nathan Fielder. He's a 42-year-old actor-comedian from Vancouver, Canada. He's known best for his completely cringe-inducing comedy that keeps you wondering, is this really him? Or is he just that committed to the bit? He got his start on a CBC segment called Nathan on Your Side back in 2008. Since then, his unconventional ideas would produce quite the cult following. After beginning his new show called Nathan For You back in 2013, he started to build more of a reputation as not only an awkward loner, but a dumb one at that. This new show would have Nathan play a wannabe business consultant with real business owners. He would suggest absurd ideas to help the struggling small business grow and document the reactions and results. Now, though the show has a pretty large fan base even now, it didn't stop people from hating on the show and having a lot of problems with its ethics. LA Review of Books even wrote Fielder's goal is not to help these people succeed, but to introduce the most over-the-top, ridiculous idea and see how far the show's contestants will allow him to go. The show would also further his cringe-inducing persona with an article from Rolling Stone, calling him an awkward loner who generates one deeply uncomfortable moment after another. Now, at this point, Nathan Fielder had successfully established himself as a comedian who leans into his awkward behavior. He often appeared as a guest star in many comedy talk shows and well-known comedic TV shows, and the question still remained, was this really him? Was he simply playing a character? Was he emphasizing pieces of his true self for the show? The debates reached all corners of Reddit, Twitter, Tumblr, but in July of 2022, he would premiere his new show, The Rehearsal. A show that aims to lean a little further into that natural awkwardness we all carry, and Nathan will spare no expense to do that. In season 1 of The Rehearsal, Nathan Fielder aims to prepare everyday people for different situations. He does this in episode 1 by building an exact replica of a Brooklyn bar to help Core, a 50-year-old trivia enthusiast who is hiding a secret from his friends. The goal of this episode is to help Core feel more comfortable telling his friends the truth by preparing him for every possible situation through rehearsal. This setup continues for the rest of the season, but gets into some odd places as soon as we are introduced to Angela, a woman who wants to become a mom. The show creates a hyper-realistic simulation of motherhood to help prepare Angela, and eventually, Nathan also gets involved as a co-parent. Now, this particular part of the season gets a lot of backlash due to the way it breaks ethical ideas regarding child actors. Nathan hires a child actor who does not have a father, and after his set acting schedule was over, he had created an attachment to Nathan. Because the child spent many days calling Nathan Daddy, he became very confused when he was told that Nathan wasn't really his father. Because of how the show handled this, they received a lot of backlash, but nonetheless, The Rehearsal was renewed for a season 2. Now, season 2 of The Rehearsal treats itself very differently to the first season. In episode 1, we open with 2 pilots in a cockpit that crash very violently, with a disturbed Nathan Fielder watching from beyond the windshield. Immediately, as the audience, you might wonder if this is the right show, your only sense of familiarity being the face of one Canadian comedian. We aren't presented with another awkward individual looking for training. Instead, we're presented with Nathan, looking for support in an issue he's passionate about. He begins the season with the statement, "The goal is to earn his trust, because for what you have planned, you'll need this man to take you seriously." This immediately goes against everything Nathan Fielder is known for. The prince of pranking wants to be taken seriously. At first watch, you expect a joke to arise out of the situation, but it never does. Nathan himself even states, "We are over 10 minutes into this episode with 0 laughs." What the entire first episode really is an admittance from Nathan Fielder. He knows he's just a persona no one takes seriously. He knows his reputation will hold him back from what he wants to accomplish, and he directly asks the audience to believe that part of what he's doing is truth, and not an extension of an insensitive joke. His goal in this season is to prevent the number of fatal plane crashes that are caused by relationship discrepancies between pilots. He goes through an entirely real journey to achieve this goal. He has heavily researched the issue, and he commits to putting as much time and money into it as he can in the very first episode. The combination of Nathan forcing himself to walk through these fatal crashes, him speaking with the actors playing victims, and a comedian framing himself as a clown begging for help evokes such a visceral reaction. He says, when enough people see you as only a joke, a part of you starts to believe that that's all you have. Now, whether certain aspects of what I want to discuss in the show are something real that Nathan intended to be treated as real, or they're simply more jokes riddled throughout the show to keep its facade, is not important. Although I believe there to be a bit of truth in everything that happens in this season. What's important is what came from these events in the show. I think this can be best discussed by looking at Season 2, Episode 5, Washington. At the beginning of the episode, Nathan is rehearsing to eventually go in front of the Aviation Subcommittee to implement a plan to lower the number of fatal airplane crashes. He struggles with his dilemma still of being a comedian and wanting to do something serious and impactful. His meeting with the Aviation Subcommittee is rejected. So he Googles himself to see exactly what his reputation is in the eyes of the public. But he finds an article titled, "How Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal Affirms My Experience with Autism." He then goes on to discuss that it is interestingly the one group that takes him seriously. He discovers that the ranking member of the Aviation Subcommittee is also a member of the Congressional Autism Caucus. So he goes to the Center for Autism and Related Disorders, or CARD, and speaks to Dr. Doreen Granpeesheh to understand his involvement in the autism community. Now, I find this section of the episode the most interesting. Throughout his entire career, people have been trying to ascertain whether or not Nathan is playing a character. And I think this moment really forces you to question that. Dr. Granpeesheh explains that the rehearsal does exactly what CARD tries to do: rehearse stress-inducing situations with children to help them acclimate to certain environment. And the show is really important in showing people what having autism is really like. Dr. Granpeesheh shows him a test called Reading the Mind in the Eyes. And as he attempts to answer some of the questions, he seems to struggle. Now, whether this was done for comedic effect is highly debated. But why would Nathan thoughtlessly include this after begging his audience to take him seriously? Regardless, he moves on with his goal of aviation safety by curating a partnership with CARD. He does this by allowing them to use his replica airport he built in episode 1 for their own rehearsal. He may do this in order to achieve a different goal, but as Nathan is a writer for the show, the way he frames himself in the moment is as someone who wants to do good for this community, which I think speaks to what his actual intentions are. Now, Nathan Fielder has always been known as an awkward loner type of person who wears the mask of a character for his comedy. But the question is, what are his intentions with this new venture? He seems to want to be taken seriously, but he hides himself behind the facade of a comedian. He's comfortable there. He wants to bring awareness to issues he cares about, and he wants to do something about them. But I think he's taking his audience with him on a journey of his own self-exploration. And we're all finding out that he might be much more than a phony business consultant, advising someone to sell poo-flavored frozen yogurt. All right, that's it.